Baseball, we were talking just last week about how, in essence, baseball has been dealing with the substance. It's funny, you want to call it substance abuse, but it's not that kind of substance abuse. It's the substance you put on a baseball. And if I'm hearing this correctly, it looks like we have the first pitcher ejected in baseball's new crackdown on substances. Who is this pitcher, and what penalty came down, and what is he saying about it?
Yeah, it took about 2 weeks into Major League Baseball implementing this new system where umpires check pitchers regularly throughout a game for using foreign substances. And Seattle Mariners reliever Hector Santiago was the first to be caught with a foreign substance in his glove. And because of that, he was ejected. And this happened on Sunday. And earlier today, Major League Baseball announced that Santiago had been suspended for 10 games, which is the penalty for being caught under these new rules. Santiago is going to appeal. We'll see what comes from that, but that's a pretty significant suspension. I mean, you had to have something that, for a reliever, 10 games is certainly a lot, but you also had to have a penalty that was enough to deter starting pitchers. And if it was a 5-game suspension, a starting pitcher would maybe miss one start, but a 10-game suspension, you're talking about 2 starts. So now with Santiago, he's out for 10 games, and I believe the Mariners cannot replace him on their roster, so they're going to be down a man because Santiago was caught with a foreign substance in his glove.
Man. All right, so all this goes down, and as usual, it's like, I know nothing. What's Santiago saying about this?
Right. Santiago insists that this was a use of rosin mixed with sweat, which is legal. You see the rosin bags going back to however long people have watched baseball, that rosin bag on the mound. You can use rosin, you can mix it with sweat, but the fact that it was on Santiago's glove apparently is the red flag here. But I have heard things, maybe this is hearsay, but I've heard some rumblings from reporters and people who were on the scene. If you saw when Santiago was ejected from the game, the umpires immediately took his glove, confiscated it, put it in a trash bag, it looked like. I don't know if that's going to cause any chain of custody type questions. But from what I understand, Santiago's glove, whatever he was using, and again, he insists it was sweat with rosin. But from what I understand, whatever substance he was using was kind of oozing, kind of out of the ringlets of the glove, between the fingers, and was more of a gooey or oozy type substance, which is not what you get when you mix rosin with sweat. So Santiago insists that's what it is, and then when this is checked in a lab, he'll be absolved, which I assume is why he's appealing this. But from people on the scene, apparently, this looked like something much different.
Does Roger Clemens give seminars on, denial when it comes to stuff like this? Because these players always have it down, man. It's like, what? I mean, it's like George Costanza, right? If I knew I wasn't supposed to have that substance, I never would have put it in my glove. All right, so he's out for 10 days or roughly 2 starts, if you will. And then look, and then the other pitchers, do you think this is going to make pitchers nervous, or if you got nothing to hide, it's not a big deal?
Well, if you have nothing to hide, it isn't a big deal. But I think some pitchers are nervous, and you're seeing some effect on batting average is up, strikeouts are down. You see some pitchers making a show out of it, what a friend of mine calls substance theater now, where they take out the glove and the hat and they're going to the belt, all too willing to pull down their pants, apparently, in front of the umpires. But you've seen some pitchers, and maybe it's unfair to single out the New York Yankees' Garrett Cole, but he has not pitched well since Major League Baseball started testing or looking, beginning with suspending some minor league pitchers for foreign substances. And in the 4 starts since Cole has pitched under these circumstances, he has not done very well. He's been getting batted around, including by the Red Sox over the weekend. His spin rate is down. So I think we are seeing a definite effect and some scary circumstances for pitchers. We didn't talk about this a couple weeks ago, but Tyler Glasnow of the Tampa Bay Rays, he's out for the rest of the season. He injured his elbow, and he insists that this was because of the new rules, but that because he couldn't get the same grip on the ball, he had to hold it tighter and that was causing a problem in his forearm. He couldn't get the same grip, so he had to really cinch down on the baseball, and that caused him injury. He insists. Now, guys throw harder than ever, and I do wonder if eventually, as we've talked about, baseball is going to have to back off on this a little bit with a substance that's kind of universally accepted among all the teams, because you have guys who are throwing as hard as ever and can't necessarily control it unless they can get a proper grip on the ball. Now, maybe whatever this spider tack stuff or industrial grade sticky substances that pitchers are using is going to be illegal, but I think you might need something a little stronger than rosin and sweat for these pitchers.
Man, this is this is just going to be interesting to watch, as we move forward, to see if this is definitely a wake up call to pitchers like a Garrett Cole. And I find that interesting. Again, when you monitor him moving forward as well during the season, how's he going to do? And if he's not doing well, and it comes out that maybe he was relying on this for his success, which translates into a huge contract with the Yankees. I wonder how the Yankees would be feeling about that. But maybe a little too early to go there, but we'll keep an eye on it for sure.